iStock Audio. iStock Audio.
The most important stage of grief is that one when we say, I need a support group. I need somebody to talk to. Because that's, I think, when it's really acceptance, when we're saying, I need someone.
The greatest gift this group gave me was along the progression of the disease, was incredible insights, incredible direction, because all we're doing is sharing our experiences and we're learning from one another. That to me has been the greatest gift of all.
And you all know that when you come in here, if you need to cry, you cry.
Oh yeah, I know that very well.
If you need to get mad and say, I'm sick and tired of doing this, you can say that too. Because you are. There are days when you are so overwhelmed. And there seems to be no light at the end of the tunnel. I am sick and tired. Here.
You make a lot of friends there. You do. Right, Jerry?
Yeah.
And it's a place where you can speak openly. And then when you leave, you say, I can do this. It gives you that encouragement, right? It gives you that encouragement.
There are free Alzheimer's Association counseling groups you can go to. It's absolutely wonderful. You can just go and talk, a support group, and it makes all the difference in the world. And there's also an 800 number for the Alzheimer's Association that I have called at 3 in the morning. I'm like, just going to lose it because my dad is like doing something weird, or I can't get him in the shower or something. And you can just talk to someone at this Alzheimer's Association 800 number, and just a human being will be on the other line.
Caregivers will burn out, and at a tremendous rate, if they don't learn to take care of themselves. And I don't think anybody can do this all alone. We all need somebody.
I really urge people to talk with people, get counseling, go to support groups, and also if you can't do it anymore, and you have to have someone else take care of your loved one, don't feel guilty about it. You can't. It's not everyone can do it.
We have problems all the time with bathing. The caregiver has a real problem bathing a parent or a husband bathing a wife. All of a sudden, this is very, very difficult. And what we always say is, get a stranger in. Let a stranger come in. They can do it.
iStock Audio. iStock Audio. iStock Audio. iStock Audio.
Both hands on? Yeah.
iStock
And if Jerry doesn't feel that he's strong on his feet, then we definitely don't.
From diagnosis on, nothing's ever going to be normal. Again, we can work towards making things as simple and as pleasant and as much like the way we would have planned as possible, but we're not going to be able to go on the trips and retire with the grandchildren and do those kinds of things. All our friends are. They're the normal ones. We're not. We don't feel a sense of normalcy. But all the more that underscores the fact that we need to have that kind of support system that makes us feel as normal as we possibly can. And that means having the help, the support that allows us to take care of ourselves, that allows us to go to the library or to get our hair done or to get a manicure or to go to the barber shop or to a ball game, whatever it is, because those are the normal things in our lives. We can't do them unless we have the help that allows us to do them.
And it can be just the most lonely task, being alone with someone taking care of them, grueling, heartbreaking task. But just throw out normal, and at 5 o'clock, put on Frank Sinatra. Dance around the room if the person you're taking care of can dance. Sing, music, read poetry to that person, tell the story of your life to that person. You don't have to do things the way society says to do them.
Imagine living with unpredictability 24/7. That's what our caregivers are doing. That's what they're doing. And all we can teach them to try to do is to get used to one change at a time, knowing that tomorrow is going to bring another one, and we'll get used to that one. at that time, adjusting to one at a time. I'm so reminded by a time in another life when I had bought a pair of new white kid sneakers, and I just loved them. I put on my white kids and immediately spilled ketchup all over my right sneaker. And I was just, oh no, I just bought these. I felt so awful. And my husband, even entering into the disease, had enough presence of mind to look at me. And he looked at the sneaker and he said, "Are you playing at Wimbledon tomorrow?" And what he was saying to me was how important, it's a sneaker, you know? What wonderful training that was for me to become an Alzheimer's partner. That was great training. It's putting things in perspective. How important is it? This is a fatal illness we're dealing with. This is an illness that is terminal. Let's make it the best we can, and if that's 6 Oreos 12 times a day, go for it.
Through the course of Alzheimer's disease, we as caregivers and our loved ones experience many changes. Change gives us the opportunity to think creatively.
I'd walked into the kitchen one night, my husband's holding my brand new Teflon frying pan in one hand, and he had an SOS scouring pad in the other, and I thought, never the twain should meet. I went back 15 minutes later, he had taken all the Teflon off the frying pan. It was shiny stainless steel. My heart dropped, and then I looked at his face, and he was waiting, and I said, "Oh, that is so beautiful. Look at that pan." I went in the other room and said, "Oh, my heavens." I went out the next day and bought 2 more Teflon frying pans, one for me, I hid it, and another one for him so that he could do something that he felt was positive and wonderful.
Very hard for him to give up driving. And he'd say, "Why can't I drive?" And I'm like, "Dad, you can't." And it was very hard. And he was a car guy. He was president of a company that sold parts to the big 3. And I'm like, wow, how could we do this? So we're going to Walmart because they have those carts. And we went in and he sat down in those motorized shopping carts and he just gets in there and I would ride 2 next to him and we'd tour around Walmart together. We were okay with making other people uncomfortable. And we just decided that we were going to do that. And we're all going to be like kind of crazy together because for the moments that you get out of that.
iStock Audio. iStock Audio.
Never give up communicating with someone. I met this woman who's studying music therapy, and she played the violin. And one of her assignments was to go to a nursing home. And they just said, well, you know, go play and for 15 minutes here and just take your violin and work with people. And she was working with people in various stages of dementia and Alzheimer's in a nursing home. And they said, well, there's Lila down the hall that, you know, wouldn't do any good. And she's, you know, we think she's been in a coma, just lying in bed and unable to speak or do anything. But you might as well go down there and play for her. So she would go play the violin, and she kind of felt stupid because she felt like this isn't doing any good. So for 2 weeks, she went in every day during this 2-week music therapy internship or whatever. And at the end of that time, she went in the final time and played for this woman, and just who was lying there. And she said, well, Lila, I've enjoyed playing, you know, violin for you these past 2 weeks, but this is my last day. And she reached out and took her hand, and a tear came out of her eye. And there's something about that that just really moves me. It's like there's always the possibility of communication.
These people are losing their language. That's what they're losing. They're losing their ability to communicate. So we have to be the best communicators we can be. It's got nothing to do with words. Nothing to do with words at all. It has everything to do with the emotions. You know, one of the beautiful things with Alzheimer's, and there are some really neat things that happen with this disease, but one of them happens to be that emotion stays intact. It's not gone. Everything else changes, not emotion. It's grown up, it's mature, it's the same as it would have been without Alzheimer's. We can reach the person on their emotional level.
He likes to laugh, so just being silly with different things. Even when if I'm the one to get him the sponge bath, I get him ready for bed at night and all. But just be silly, and I think that helps a lot.